Welcome to News Globe, your trusted source for global updates. In this video, we'll dive deep into the latest developments in the Russia-Ukraine war. From shifting front lines to high-tech warfare and international politics, stay with us as we break it all down. Now let's begin with a quick look back at how this war unfolded and where it stands today. The Russia-Ukraine war, now entering its third year, remains one of the most significant and devastating conflicts in modern Europe. What began in February 2022 as a full-scale invasion by Russian forces has evolved into a grinding war of attrition, reshaping global politics, economics, and military strategy. To understand the present, we must briefly look at the past. The roots of the conflict go back to 2014, when Russia annexed Crimea and backed separatist forces in eastern Ukraine. This marked a sharp escalation in tensions between the two nations, and the world watched as ceasefires repeatedly failed. Fast forward to 2022, Russia launched a wide-ranging invasion of Ukraine, targeting Kyiv and other key cities. The initial goal appeared to be regime change and rapid dominance. However, Ukrainian resistance, bolstered by Western support, turned the tide. Russian forces withdrew from Kyiv, refocusing on the eastern Donbass region. The war since then has taken a new shape, a battle dominated by drones, long-range missile strikes, and trench warfare reminiscent of World War I. Ukraine's counteroffensives in 2023 recaptured parts of Kherson and Zaporizhia, but progress was slow and costly. By 2024, the conflict had largely turned into a stalemate. Russia held significant territory in eastern and southern Ukraine, while Ukraine struggled to break through well-fortified Russian lines. Both sides have suffered heavy casualties, and cities near the front lines remain devastated. International involvement remains high. Western countries, especially the US and EU nations, continue to supply Ukraine with military aid and financial support, while Russia receives assistance, overt and covert, from countries like Iran and North Korea. But what's happening now, in 2025? Let's explore the current state of the war, the new strategies being deployed, and the uncertain road ahead. As of mid-2025, the front lines of the Russia-Ukraine war have barely moved, but the intensity has not diminished. The fighting remains concentrated in eastern Ukraine, particularly in Donetsk and Luhansk, and in the south near Zaporizhia and Kherson. One of the most notable developments this year has been the increased use of drones and electronic warfare. Both sides now rely heavily on unmanned aerial vehicles for reconnaissance, artillery targeting, and even kamikaze-style attacks. Ukraine's domestically developed drones, along with Western-supplied systems, have targeted Russian logistics hubs far behind the front lines. In response, Russia has expanded its use of Iranian Shahed drones and launched coordinated missile strikes against Ukrainian infrastructure. In a major blow to Russian air power, Ukraine has successfully destroyed several high-value Russian fighter jets and bombers over the past few months. Using a combination of US-supplied Patriot missile systems and domestically operated air defense networks, Ukraine downed at least 10 Russian aircraft, including Su-34 bombers, Su-35 fighters, and even rare A-50 surveillance planes. These losses have forced the Russian Air Force to pull back, reducing its air support near the front lines and giving Ukraine greater freedom to conduct long-range strikes. Russian forces have solidified their hold on occupied territories with massive fortifications, minefields, and layered defenses. Despite several attempts, Ukrainian offensives have struggled to penetrate these lines. The so-called Surovikin Line, named after a Russian general, is a multi-layered defense system stretching across the southern front and remains a major obstacle to Ukrainian advances. But Ukraine is adapting. In 2025, Ukrainian forces have shifted focus to long-range strikes on Crimea, targeting military depots, air bases, and the vital Kerch Bridge. These attacks aim to disrupt Russian supply lines and morale, while also showcasing Ukraine's growing capabilities. On the Russian side, despite mounting casualties and equipment losses, the Kremlin has maintained a steady flow of conscripts and weapons. Russia's economy, heavily sanctioned, has adapted to wartime production. The government has ramped up domestic arms manufacturing and retooled civilian industries to support the war. Civilians continue to suffer. Cities like Bakhmut, Avdiivka, and Kupiansk remain under constant shelling. Millions of Ukrainians remain displaced, and the humanitarian crisis grows by the day. That wraps up the first half of our deep dive into the Russia-Ukraine war. We've explored how it all began and the intense developments unfolding right now in 2025. But the story isn't over yet. In our next video, we'll uncover how this war is reshaping global alliances and where the future might be headed. Peace, escalation, or something no one expects. So if you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to News Globe. Hit the bell so you don't miss part 2. It's going to be eye-opening. See you there.